What scientific breakthrough are we closer to than most people realize? Ask Reddit. Skunk spinner. Earthquake warning system of about approximately 2 hours. Permanent GPS antennas are located all over the world, and more densely at fault zones. About a year ago, geologists found that if they stacked all historical GPS data proximal to large earthquakes, they saw there is a very small acceleration of the surface about 2 hours before the actual earthquake. We are literally only missing the technology to make even more precise GPS measures, so we can do this in real time on singular regions. It is proven that this is an actual thing that happens, and we can literally warn of earthquakes with a significant time span, greater than in the land movement, is so subtle that only by lumping all the data together did the precursor stand out. Blatteri says, if you just remove 1 or 2 quakes, you still see it, he says. But if you remove half, it's hard to see. This is not a solution or has saved any lives, but it is an absolutely staggering discovery that will have an insane focus in the upcoming years. https www.science.org/content/articles/warning-signs-detected-hours-ahead-big-earthquakes. PTS Dewey. 806. Insanely effective cancer treatments. Cell therapy is absolutely crazy, and it's available for a fair few diseases. Arabidopsis. 11096. A cure for HIV seems to be on the horizon. Some scientists managed to cut it out of cells using CRISPR last year. PM_er_nudes_4_ rating. 7583. Early diagnosis and treatment of Parkinson's. I think I've been following a story for a few years now of a woman who could smell Parkinson's and is now working with researchers to turn her weird unique ability into an early screening test. Out and Down 27. 1029. I have a lot of family that works in different pharma companies. We were recently discussing that there is a very promising treatment for Alzheimer's in the works that could stop the progression of the disease and maybe reverse some of the brain damage. It's still in testing phase and wouldn't be on the market for years, but it's something that would be awesome to be able to use. Chickadee 12345. 3890. Synthetic biology. Shit's going to get weird real soon. Compulsive Creative. 1467. Genetic editing. I think we'll soon see news of experimental gene therapy treatments for cancer, diabetes, and perhaps Alzheimer's, CRSPR9 and all. The next logical step would be designer babies. Jungs_shadow. 3907. And treating depression with neuromodulation therapy instead of medications. Stanford is heavily involved in clinical trials using their SAINT treatment. https med.stanford.edu/news/all-news/2021/10/depression-treatment.html. It essentially uses transcranial magnetic stimulation in a similar way to DBS, but is less invasive and better tolerated. I'm trying to get into one of their clinical trials. I'm looking forward to a day when I don't need medication to stop me from wanting to die. I'm on antidepressant number 7 or 8 at this point, and finding one that works doesn't make me manic, doesn't kill my libido, and doesn't make me gain weight is impossible. Currently taking vilazodone, which isn't too bad, but probably not as efficacious as it should be. I will say that after years of missing Frisson. https www.discovery.com/science/getting-chills-from-music. I'm finally back to getting those goosebumps whenever I listen to music that hits just so. My doc thought this was unusual but super cool. My doc is also very supportive of me perusing that clinical trial. The coolest part is that if you're in the placebo group, they will give you the real therapy after the trial is over. Meshuggah, 1605. What was your damn, you live like this moment? Ask Reddit. The Communist T. Went to a new friend's house for the first time when I was in the 6th grade. We walked through the front door. Friend. Mom. We home. Mom comes around a corner. Oh my god. It's so great to finally meet you. Friend talks about you a lot. Gives me a hug. How are you? Me. I am fine. Mom. Are you hungry? I was about to make us a snack. Dad. Come meet friend's friend. Dad comes around another corner. Hey kiddo. It's good to meet you. Shakes my hand. If you guys are good, I'll take you guys to fun place later and we'll get some pizza. Kisses mom. I'll be in the garage. Smacks mom's butt. Mom. Giggles. You guys go play in your room. I'll bring you something to eat. I was stunned. They were nice to me and each other. I mentioned it to my friend later, and he apologized because they were so embarrassing. My parents weren't in a room together without at least insulting each other. I really hope friend's parents are still married and insanely happy. Edit. Since this kinda blew up, they were really the nicest couple. They really loved each other and my friend. From what I saw, I hung out there for a bit, but I ended up moving. Again. About a year later, we indeed went for pizza that night, and his mom made a really big breakfast the next morning. The blueberry cake thing she made still lingers in my dreams. They are the couple that I most tried to emulate in my marriage of nearly 30 years. It really does help to have the right partner, but it is definitely worth the effort. What in the actual feth? 13,599. I went to a friend's house that only had one downstairs bathroom. They had piss bottles in their room for when they were too lazy to go for a piss in the middle of the night. 2-liter bottles of piss just laying around their room. Cawthor. 5,556. Going to a friend's house and realizing they have a fully stocked fridge and pantry with actual food. Not just ramen and frozen pizza. Sexy like queen. 7,253. Walking into my friend's dorm after they said it was super messy and realizing that it was nothing compared to the mess that was in mine. It was honestly a wake-up call. Adorable row 7,969. 8,566. Acid dealer's apartment. Maze of trash. Cats. Can't imagine tripping in there. Powdered mini donut. 1833. 3. I once visited a dude I knew somewhat from middle school. I was with a friend who was friends with him. We were 1920ths. He had only recently moved in, but there was already a small mountain of smelly dishes and a smell of sweat cause he was playing that VR rhythm game Beat Saber, which requires a lot of movement. When we were leaving, I had to take a quick leak in the toilet and just said, I'll just borrow your toilet for a minute. His reaction was, as I was entering the toilet. What that, had in store for me was to this day traumatic for me. Pee stains on the floor, pubic hair on the sink and a smell of moldy clothes from the washing machine. He had lived there for less than a month. He has never worked a day in his life and was playing online slots. He often posted about winning something like 2,000 euros. And less than a week later asking 20 euros for food in Snapchat My Story. A couple years passed and he sent me a message. Just asking for 10 euros loan for a pack of cigarettes. He said he'd pay back in 5 days when he gets his social assistance payment. 5 days later I ask about the money. He reads the message but ignores me completely. Doesn't delete me or anything. Just ignores. I tell about it to another friend who knows him and some other common friends of theirs. And he says that I am not going to see that 10 euros ever again. He's apparently loaned from plenty of people and is in debt over €500 to one friend. I almost feel sorry for him. But a lot of those mistakes he made without the use of common sense. Debility. 2591. My GF, now wife, visiting me unannounced one day when I was living in my grandmother's basement. It was embarrassing, as it was almost at a hoarder level of mess. I was so ashamed at my situation that I changed. Mostly. Hitting 30 years together this year. So I did something right. Com Thor. 1196. I once had an Arab foreign exchange student friend. She once was complaining that her dad didn't send her tuition fee on time. She was already getting $10K per month allowance from her dad, $2K for the apartment she was renting. Rest was for food and whatever else she was using it for. He was paying her tuition on top of that. This was around 2014-2015. Shanuja. 1022. What is something you will always say no to? Ask Reddit. Kyong 7 Man. And tight caves. I don't want to end up in Mr. Ballin video. Alien but made in China. 5028. 8. Heroin. N4 Rentorm. 844. Coming into work on my day off. Efficient_fish 2436, 8488. Are you on Facebook? Butterscotch Slow 6247, 3148. Injecting illicit drugs, Achok Attack, 1984. Celery and a Nigerian millionaire prince asking for money, Tinfoil Thinker, 2155. Skydiving, bungee jumping and meth. Definitely meth. Hard way always, 2936. Accept all cookies on website. Alien Rider 1, 356. What legal scummy business practice should be illegal? Ask Reddit. Pristine Drawer 1030. Canceling a subscription should be the same process as starting one. You should have to wait on hold to talk to someone to cancel a subscription when it took you 2 minutes and 0 human interaction to sign up. But it's perfectly legal in most places in the States to intentionally make it a pain in the ass to cancel edit. I am incredibly aware you can cancel credit cards, dispute payments, and call the bank to get out of these. Op asked for scummy business practices that are legal. They didn't ask for impossible to overcome challenges. Squirrel 009. 7333. Having to opt out when you never opted in. Bathroom Inner 2036, 887. U.S. Senators being allowed to buy and sell stocks. Desai Gaijin, 5764. Ticketmaster and their exorbitant fees. John_Weiss, 401. Knew someone. Worked for a different company. Who got conveniently laid off after the boss found out they were planning to retire a month later. Cut them off from so many of the retirement benefits by doing so should be illegal to terminate an employee, even an at-will employee. Once a retirement date is set and within maybe 6 months to a year of the present date. Apart form termination with cause. Ask Derpy Cat. 2119. No sick time for employees and not being allowed to use vacation as sudden sick time. My current security company has this policy. So if you get too sick and can't come in, better drag your ass in and infect everyone or lose however many days of pay to recover. That_guy_pen. 1285. Laws around on-call working. My company requires me to stay on site overnight once a week to be in charge of security and respond to emergencies, on top of my standard full-day shifts. But they only pay for 3 hours work for that whole night. Unless I can prove I did more than that. Personally, I think if my work requires me to be on site away from my family and I am not free to be doing what I want, then I should be getting paid fairly for it. And if I am not getting paid, I should be free to come and go and do whatever I want. Slack climbing. 255. Insurance companies hiring doctors to second-guess treatments, prescriptions made by your doctor, so the insurance company doesn't have to pay out its share of the cost. Lanzil 0T. 2213.